Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, once again it is time for Robcast Live number 9, coming at you live, uncut and unrated from Spreaker Studios and Robcast Radio. So here is Zombie, and here it goes.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, I missed you guys. I had a little bit of technical difficulty last night, this morning, yesterday morning, whichever morning it was. But as I always like to start off your show by saying, I definitely like to say, A, thank you for tuning in. But definitely always like to start off your show, guys, by saying thank you to the Army, thank you to the Navy, thank you to the Air Force, thank you to the Marines for doing what you bad motherfuckers do to keep our country free. I also like to say thank you to the firefighters, to the EMTs, and definitely last but definitely not least, the police officers for doing what... See, that messed me all up. Normally I say thank you to the police officers, the firefighters, and the EMTs, guys, all of you first responders, because when we all run away from danger, you all are trained to run straight into it. So for that, we give you all respect. Respect, guys. So rock and roll, what are we going to talk about? What kind of craziness are we going to get into tonight? Not a whole lot. I've got some pet peeves that I'm going to go over the second half of the show about motorcycling. And yes, sometimes if that motorcyclist gets on your nerves, I was going to say it's not their fault, but yes, it's probably definitely their fault. Ignorance can be cured, and that's one of the reasons I want to encourage motorcyclists, motorcycle riding, and I would like to discourage, yes, organ donors. Like one of my friends on Facebook said, because I'd post, well, we'll get into that later, but we'll get into it now. Get into it now. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to y'all, talking to myself. Talking to myself some more. I'd posted some pictures of a new helmet because I was going to order maybe a dozen of these helmets in order to sell. So that any of my friends getting into the motorcycling that need a new helmet, they could see what it was all about. Got my older brother one. Very nice flip-up helmet with the aviator lens that comes down, the shades and everything. Super cool. Well, I had posted a picture of it on Facebook and said that, basically just what I told you guys. I like to encourage motorcycling and discourage organ donors. And yeah, that's what one of my friends said, that he calls those people that he sees riding in flip-flops with no helmet, he calls them hamburger meat. Yep, exactly. But first on the show, competitive people versus creative people. What's the difference? Which one of you does it make a difference in your life? Well, I don't know, but for me, just for me, speaking out of just for myself, I personally like to align myself with creative people. It seems to me as if competitive people or competitors tend to align themselves with one another also. However, where they're constantly competing, to keep up with the Joneses, creators are constantly really not worried about anything else except creating things. And I think that all has to do with the advancement of life, the advancement of your life, the advancement of the things that you build, that you want to make them stronger, faster, better. So creators versus competitors, you might think of it like this. A creative person, let's say if your car breaks down, a competitive person, when their car breaks down, they're not really worried about anything except getting it fixed. They're going to take it to the mechanic and they're going to pay him $500 and they're going to get it fixed. A creative person is going to, when his car breaks down, he's going to not only, he'll definitely go and pay the guy $500 and get it fixed, but he's going to ask why. He's going to say, why did the car fix and how can I prevent this from happening again? And is it something that was it me? Is it the car? Is it the engineering of the car? Is it a default? Is it preventive maintenance? Because if it can be prevented, we're going to want to try to prevent that from happening again. Creative people do stuff like this. If, let's say, you want a super awesome motorcycle, a competitive person will just go to the store and pull out their credit card and they'll buy what everyone else tells them is a super awesome motorcycle or a super awesome whatever. Let's say an outfit for you ladies. A competitive person will go and spend $500 on an outfit to go out in. While the creative person will go and a creative person like myself can get a motorcycle that costs half that much and re-engineer it myself and make it 10 times what that other person may have gotten for what he thought was something that was really, really cool and what everybody wanted. And as far as the going and shopping and buying yourself that new outfit and new clothes and spending $400 or $500 on it, being the competitive person that you are and wanting to keep up with everyone, a creative person could probably go to, let's just say, the thrift shop and put together a banging outfit that will smoke you out of the club and feel good about it and rock that shit. You hear me I'm saying? Right? So that's just a little bit different of being on the competitive plane where you're constantly struggling to keep up with other people and it's kind of like throwing stones back at one another. And creative people don't really worry about all of that pettiness. They don't really worry about trying to keep up with the Joneses. But they really, I don't know, because I consider myself to be a creative person, I really don't worry a whole lot about a whole lot. You know, I don't look over my shoulder. I honestly believe that there's always a creative solution out of any situation that you get yourself into. Because just like the creative people and competitive people, competitive people can be very lazy. And I don't mean physically, I mean with their brain. Because competitive people tend to just agree with other people and say, and yes, and this and that, and then not fact check, and to just go on what everyone else says. And creative people, well, we're not going to go there. We're not going to throw stones. We don't really have to worry about that kind of thing. Because we do not mind using our mind a little bit. We don't mind laborious effort that entails you forming your own opinion or creating your own thought or doing your own fact checking to make sure that it's not some bullshit that people are telling you. It's not just something that you read on Facebook or on the internet. Sometimes you got to get out in the real world and you got to talk to people. And you have to see things with your own eyes. Just because it's a video on YouTube doesn't mean it's real. I mean, we all saw, science fiction movies. You know, aliens are not here right now. We don't think that's really happening. However, if it's on YouTube, it's a giant snake. It's 57 feet long. In the floodwaters of Texas, it's got to be true, right? Because there's a picture of it on YouTube. And creative people tend to, fact check that kind of thing. They don't mind being, like I said, the laborious effort that it takes for you to formulate your own thought and your own opinion. Lazy people, they're just going to go right along, go with the flow, wherever the tide takes you. And creative people, well, we don't mind swimming a little bit to get to where we need to be. Or getting out of oar and stroking. You know what I'm saying? And talking about creative people, guys, I've got some creative people we'll talk just a little bit about, and I'll be back in about 51 seconds. Are you feeling naughty?
NaughtyGirlClothing.net, NaughtyGirlClothing.net, NaughtyGirlClothing.net. Hey, are you feeling naughty, but you're sitting around in some stained t-shirt and unbecoming bottoms? NaughtyGirlClothing.net has got you covered, actually. From size 2 to 2X, baby. Now there's no excuse for your sexy ass to get some action. Or just look hot as hell for yourself. Because that's what counts. You. From fun to fantasy, become part of our Naughty Girl family. NaughtyGirlClothing.net. NaughtyGirlClothing.net.
Alright, all you zombie girls out there, if you happen to be a zombie girl, go to naughtygirlclothing.net and use the coupon code Zombie Girls, and that's where you will get a discount on your order and free shipping. So yeah, competitive people, creative people, look, at the end of the day, you should wake up every single day doing what you love to do, and that mostly will entail you aligning yourself with people that you aspire to become. And that is aligning yourself with creative people. And now we'll get on past whatever philosophizing we're doing today and talking about creative people, competitive people. How do you feel about being on the creative plane or being on the competitive plane and trying to keep up with the Joneses? I'm done with it. I don't compete. I'm not a competitor unless it comes to quarter-mile drag racing or, something like that. Motocross. And still, even in that arena, even in that place, you see people that are competitive and that people are really creative. People that can just throw all the money at their dirt bike, right? And your old rackety old dirt bike that you ride, because you're just faster and you're a little bit more creative, you're going to cut that ass, right? And speaking of cutting that ass, and speaking about motorcycles, we're going to get into... yeah, we're going to get into some of the old zombies' pet peeves. You might just ask yourself, zombie, why should we believe that you're any kind of an authority on motorcycling? Well, the truth is, I'm not, guys. I've been an enthusiast since I was a little bitty boy. I've been riding motorcycles since I could ride bicycles. Let's put it this way. I've owned about as many motorcycles as you've seen in your life, and I've worked on about as many motorcycles as you will ever see in your life, and that is a fact. From people with no helmet, that is a pet peeve, dude. It gets on my nerves. I see it all the time, and I don't know what the fuck, what is going through your head, other than your handlebars soon. You just hit the brake too fast one time, your nose is snapped off your head rolling down the damn freeway. So let me tell you guys, not only have I've worked on a lot of motorcycles, I've built motorcycles from the ground up. I've built motorcycles that were things that you couldn't imagine, but I dream about in my sleep and blueprint them, and we build them. And seeing some of the things that I've seen, a lot of times it has to do with people that have never really been around motorcycling, and they get on that big nasty four-wheeler or that motorcycle that they just didn't know the power of, or they didn't know how to control it, and the impact of your body hitting something at anything over about 5 miles an hour is going to be pretty damn devastating. So just talking a little bit about some of the things that I may have seen in the motorcycling world, and some of them. See, this is what you don't get, alright? Being like behind the scenes and seeing what's happening with all the time, going to auctions, buying motorcycles, buying them to rebuild and to also resell and to also take apart and sell the parts. You never know. There's always $1 to be made in the business. One of the first instances was we got a Ninja, a ZX6R Ninja that came in on a hook. It came in on a wrecker truck, and it looked like a big ball of mud. And I asked the wrecker driver, whenever he dropped it there in the driveway there at the motorcycle shop, I was like, oh, wow. The